Zac Toumazi, Chief Exec of Sussex. First of all, Mark Robinson moves on. Just a word on Mark and his legacy here at Hove.
Outstanding, loyal servant, culture carrier, successful, all-round nice person. And I think for us, it's easier to say he's leaving a space here, but I'm excited about the fact that we've got another Mark coming in and picking up from there.
And we'll talk plenty about that in a moment's time. Just in terms of Mark Robinson, when were you aware that Mark was looking at this new role?
Well, the job was advertised, and he came and saw me. And he said, ask my opinion, which I thought was very, very nice of him to do so. And we've got an excellent relationship built on trust. And we discussed it, we debated it, and he said, I think I'd like to be considered for this. So we decided that we would lock it down, not discuss it with anyone else. No one else knew about his application, because I don't think we should be doing recruitment in the public eye anyway. And it was really for him to go through that process. When he was offered it, he called me on the Saturday and said, I've been offered the role, asked my opinion, we discussed it, and had a very grown-up sort of discussion about it. And I made it very clear on countless occasions, my role here is to help people develop. If they stay within the organisation and reach their potential, then fantastic. If they leave here, they've got to leave here for fantastic opportunities. And if we've played our part in that, then we should be really proud of it. So obviously, I didn't push him in any direction. I wouldn't do that. In fact, I've done nothing but support Mark to help him come to a conclusion. He made that decision himself, decision that I support, and I'm delighted for him.
How much was Mark's desire, clearly we can't ask, he's not here today, in terms of Sussex being relegated last season, how big was Mark's desire to see Sussex back to the first division of the Championship?
It's huge. I don't think anyone should think that he was going to walk away from this. We got relegated. No one died. Let's just get this into context. We had a poor season. We had circumstances that were beyond our control. We played some cricket that wasn't really up to scratch. The guys have held their hand up. We can't be unrelegated. It's happened. So we have to look forward. So Mark is not bailing out. He was always part of our plan. He was going to be the director of cricket here for us, looking over the broader piece and helping us look at Sussex Cricket as an entirety since our board merger. And Mark Davis, for me, was always the candidate that was going to take over because he's got the credentials and he's earned his opportunity.
So that moves us on nicely to the Director of Cricket, because you've spoken about reorganisation. How was that planned and what was going to happen, Zac?
Well, just to give you an idea, a year and a half ago, probably, that Mark Robinson and I sat down and we discussed what we were looking for. The important thing is that we need to have a strategy where we want to end up, and it's not all about just winning competitions. Of course, that's valuable, and that's what we want to do. But we also have a broader role to play within Sussex, which is creating a passion for cricket in the heart of our community, engaging more people from all walks of life, and really making ourselves very relevant. And so that and the backdrop, we discussed and then came to the conclusion that really Mark Robinson was keen for a new challenge within the club, and we worked on this together. We worked on the structuring together, we talked about succession planning and everything else. So this wasn't done to him, it was done with him, part of our structure. So over a year ago we were discussing structure, so very much moving along the lines, and then the ECB popped their head up and scuppered our plans.
So would Mark not have been involved with the first team on a day-to-day basis? How would that have worked?
No, I think the idea was he would play a supporting role. I mean, you can't have that amount of talent and lock it in a cupboard. No, it's very much about Mark Davis taking the first division of the first team and taking it forward, and making his changes.
So the Director of Cricket role still on the agenda?
Very much. I mean, I think for us, because if we needed the role, then it shouldn't be built around an individual. Otherwise, it just looks really convenient, doesn't it? And that's not what this is about. I believe we need someone looking across the whole of cricket in Sussex to help grow the talent that's coming through, that ultimately, hopefully, will make the grade and represent the side, because there's always talk about homegrown talent and what have you, to make sure that Keith Greenfield's area is getting the support that it's getting, to make sure that our cricket strategy that we've got is realised. So it's working across the whole piece of Sussex Cricket. We are one organisation now. We've merged the recreational game with the professional game, this whole thing needs to be made relevant and work.
So Mark Davis, will he report to the new director of cricket?
Yeah, that is the intention. I mean, it's clearly I'll have a very strong working relationship with him, and have done over the period of time. We're not an IBM where only one person can speak to one person and hierarchical, but clearly what we won't do is undermine people's authority. I have a view that I support the pro cricket side. I'm not qualified to start getting into detail about playing techniques or whatever. That's not my background. That's not what I'm here for. So I think that the cricket guys are the best placed individuals to take cricket forward, supported by the many functions and people within the organisation.
What type of individual have you got in mind for the role?
Well, we're defining the role now because of obviously there's an element of you've got some skills with Mark Robinson, and you need to sort of revisit and say, are they relevant? Can we get that again and everything else? But we need someone who understands, has a fantastic understanding of cricket from the top to the bottom, that is happy to work at, when I say at the bottom, I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but really at the recreational level. Someone who has got incredibly good personal skills, is a doer, but we're going to be writing up a job description, and we'll be moving on that as soon as we possibly can.
And how important is a knowledge of Sussex cricket for this individual?
I think it's crucial. I think anyone with that knowledge will hit the ground running. But at the same time, I think what we've got to look at is a forward approach. So it's not a case of what we've always done, it's what we want to do as well. So let's not get hamstrung too much with that.
I don't like to run correlations between football and cricket, but when you talk in football parlance about directors of football, people's blood run cold. What does the director of football do? Does he get in the way of decision making? Are you concerned about that at all, Zac, about that this might be someone who people aren't really quite sure what they do?
The guy's going to report, or lady will report into me. Right? So it's very clear, definition of role. I don't like people fiddling in areas. It's not appropriate, and I think it's how we set our stall out. So I'm very clear. This is about delivering the overall Sussex cricket strategy and allowing the professionals and other areas to function in a supported way rather than a hamstrung way.
Let's talk about the new coach, Mark Davis. Why Mark Davis?
I'm not so sure. No, not at all. He's an excellent individual. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for my last 3 years here as someone that is instantly you can connect with. He's very honest in his approach. He has no difficulty giving honest and direct feedback. He's a winner. He's been part of winning sides. He also is an individual that puts a club first. His values underpin what he does, and he's a family man. And the last bit, whilst we use the word family, is really important to us as a club, and on a selfish level for me as an individual. Everyone knows my family values and how they come through in the way that we conduct ourselves. So he was the natural successor. He's earned it on his merit, not because of convenience, and I think he's got an opportunity now to, how can I say, draw a line and really, really move forward with his own, with his own view and his own vision and everything else. Take what's good, tweak the stuff that we need to tweak, explore new opportunities, and we're never going to fail trying here. We're going to look at everything, and we're going to move forward collectively.
Were there any other candidates for the role?
I considered others, but again, I'm not going to name them. And we had some discussions, and this was some time ago. So this is not in the last few days. The media helped speculate and put people in places. But when we looked at what we've got and the need for that relationship with our new captain, the balance of our dressing room, change is good. Change for the sake of change isn't. It's been proven, and I think that what you need at a time of where you need to reflect and build is continuity, but equally able to make tough decisions and bring in new blood as appropriate.
I know you've said that relegation wasn't the end of the world. Was there any thought that you, with Mark Robinson moved on, you thought, well, we'll make a clean break from the current coaching setup?
A lot of people told me I should do that, and let's be honest, I'm not dismissing how devastating being relegated is. I'm as upset as the next person and disappointed. but I just can't keep turning that stone over all the time. So, yeah, I got lots of advice. You know, I think one suggested I should be hung from a lamppost down at the seafront because I've failed. And we got lots of abuse, but equally we did get a lot of support. And the people that understand all the circumstances really know that it's easy to say this is the solution, and it's slightly harder to implement. So no, there wasn't a case of just rip the whole thing up. We've been looking at our structure for over a year and a half. So we recognise that we have to do some things differently, and we need to make sure that this is a club that's been known to be at the forefront of a lot of things. First club to have floodlights. We've always been progressive in our thinking, and I think for us we have to be progressive in how we move forward. We will make changes, we will make difficult decisions, but we'll do those considered and correctly.
Can I move away just to off the field for a moment, Zac? Just looking ahead to the winter. And I was saying to the chairman earlier, looking at, you could almost play cricket here at Hove today. 4.5 months away. How's the planning going for next season, particularly with regard to festival cricket, particularly Horsham and Arundel?
Yeah, I think the landscape for coming forward, I mean, first and foremost, we're going to have our fixtures out in a few weeks' time. That will then set us out where we are, and I think there's not much change really year on year, a bit of movement around. The review of domestic cricket continues in line with the International Future Games programme. I've got a meeting at the ECB Monday and Tuesday of next week where we're going to start looking at strategy and everything else, which I think is great. It's what we do anyway. But I think for us, our planning continues for next year. Off the pitch, we've got our office pods are being built, and the first will be occupied in January, and that's great. That gives us some income year round. And as for festival cricket is really an interesting challenge. We all love it, we all want it, but very few want to pay for it. And I've been really clear. I would like that to continue, but if we're paying for the facilities here at Hove, where that cost just does not go away, we're either going to have the money to say we're going to invest in it and understand that it's more of a benefit for that local community and upholding the tradition, which I'm very, very keen to do. I've been a massive supporter of it, but the economics have to be considered. So our view is that we would like to move forward in festival cricket. We look at the model all the time, but I won't guarantee what the outcome is.
Yes, and the chairman was saying that actually takings were down at some of the festival cricket this year, and a decision shortly in terms of, and I guess it has to be made relatively soon, Zac, for planning.
Well, I absolutely. The good news is that we do have two facilities that we're really proud of, and they work well. One works well from a more better, from a financial point of view than the other, but the takings were down and disappointing. And of course, the reality of it is that we are playing a game that is so dependent on decent weather, and you get 2 days of rain anywhere, your takings are down. So let's not be surprised. It's the risk profile you've got to look at. You know, you don't really look at 5 days of sunshine. You can't afford to do that. You're going to say, what's the scenario if we only get 2 days play? What's the damage to that? How do we mitigate that? But we've seen a real slumping off of corporate interest. It used to be that we had, because of the days of the Championship cricket starts, you'd get hospitality taking place there regularly and well supported, but now not so much. People are really short on time, just generally.